One. Good morning to you. Well, 2 minutes ago. Got Jody coming in, hanging out, and just filling the void is what it seems like we are always doing around here.
We have a lot of voids.
Too many to count. But man, so much, man. Man, thanks for helping out. It seems like should have had you in here sooner. It's like, man, what in the world? Man.
I don't have too much to say, so it's good you don't use it too often.
Sparingly, it's that. What is it? That boring ultimatum is my fight is not with you. Not going to waste the bullets. It's in the fresh. I'm always going through the boring reels in my mind. Anyway, man, welcome to Oasis in the World. In the Word, and we're just going to run through some things. Just kind of sharing a little bit of starting a week, enjoying kicking off a week of Sunday being the traditional start of the week, but the work week, the Monday, getting through that Monday grind of, man, I wish I wasn't at work. And but at the same time, man, God has something for us each and every day if we're listening to hear and get into His Word. So, but Jody, what do you got for us, man?
Ben, I'm trying to read the Bible through in a year, and I always fail when I do this because what happens, I will get hung up on something, and I'll chase that topic, that theme, that trail, and by the time I'm done, I'm weeks behind, and so I try to catch up, and I never finish it. Not to say I've never read the whole Bible, I have, but just not in a year. So this year I'm really sticking with plan.
It's challenging.
It is, because there's so much in here that you want, like, wait, I want to stick on this for a little while, but I'm like, God, I just need you to show me. Every day I'm going through this, and I'm in the Old Testament right now, and I just finished Judges, jumped into, Ruth, and now I'm in 1 Samuel, and something that has stuck out to me repeatedly is, the Judges is kind of a horrible book when you look at the spiritual condition of Israel. They've totally neglected God, and just a few years after He gave them the promised land, they've turned to idols. They get oppressed, and they cry out to God. God sends them this judge, and judge will rescue them. And as long as that judge is alive, they follow God. But as soon as that guy dies or that lady dies, man, they're right back to idol worship. Mm-hmm. And I recognize that in my own life, dealing with that. But what I noticed as I went through is how many of these people, God would say, hey, I'm about to appoint you as a judge over my people. They've cried out. I'm going to bring them freedom. I'm going to release them. And like Gideon, he's like, hey, you got the wrong guy. I am not that guy. And you see several, Barak says, hey, I can't do this. I can't lead the battle. And Deborah's like, well, I'll go with you, but that's not what God wanted. He wanted you to step up.
Yeah.
And then as you get to Samuel, where the people have cried out for a king, and God's like, fine, you want a king? I should have been your king, but I'll give you one. God picks out Saul. And He tells Samuel, and they have this interaction. And then 1 Samuel 9, verse 21, Saul answers, but am I not the Benjamite from the smallest tribe of Israel? And is not my clan the least of all the clans in the tribe of Benjamin? Why would you say such a thing to me, that I'm going to be king? He's like, I'm not that guy. Yeah, I'm just tall. That's what I got going for me. And, it's amazing because, Ben, I feel that a lot sometimes. Like, man, I'm just not the guy. Like, God, you want something from somebody younger, somebody way smarter, somebody way more talented. And as I look back through the Old Testament, God's like, no, I've picked you for exactly this purpose. I know what I'm doing because I'm God. And, we throw this stuff at Him, but God, do you really know this about me? Like, I have this weakness. I have this, fight, the spiritual battle that I'm struggling with that I've never been able to overcome. And, my family's not famous. We're not important. We're not rich. We're not whatever. And God's like, that really didn't matter. I called you because I know exactly how I've gifted you. I'm God, your creator. Do I not know every struggle you have? And it's like, these people still throw this before God. And, Samuel tells him, he's like, look, God has put His anointing on you. He's about to change you into someone you won't even recognize. And after He anoints Saul, it says even people that saw him and knew him, like, is this really Saul? The guy that's looking for his donkeys every day, lost his donkeys, come on. And when he truly becomes king, they want to go out. The people are like, hey, we need to go kill those people that were bad-mouthing you. And Saul's like, no, let's not resort to killing them. But, it's one of those things that when God calls us, and I think a lot of people in our churches fight this, man, I'm not a pastor. I can't do this. I can't jump in and lead a ministry. I can't volunteer for this. Or, man, that's way out of my comfort zone. Why would God want me to do that? I am not a person that does this. Man, I don't know either. But if you're feeling God calling you, you need to do like what these guys did. Quit giving excuses like, okay, God, I'm willing. What do we need to do? And I think like with Saul and like with Gideon, you know, he calls Gideon, hey, mighty warrior. Man, this guy's hiding out, you know, trying to get his wheat threshed. And
Yeah.
there's nothing mighty about the dude.
Yeah. Doing it at night so the enemies
Yeah.
wouldn't come and steal it during the day. Yeah.
And, you know, God sees in us something that we don't see in ourselves. And, man, we can't question God. We can just like, here I am, send me and let's see where this goes. And so I don't know. I'm kind of at that point of, okay, God, I wouldn't call me for a lot of stuff, but you've called me. So what have we got? What are you sending me to? And let's go. So I don't know. Maybe there's some folks out there that've been fighting God because they just don't feel I have what it takes. And man, God sees, and even if you don't have what it takes, that's where you lean on Him. Like, you're going to have to get me through this, and it's going to be all about you because this was not me doing this, God. So, I don't know. That's where I'm at right now. So
No, man, I think that pairs in where I was going. Man, the affliction that God allows, you know, and I think a lot of times we misapproach affliction. We put it in this realm of it's unneeded, unwanted, and it's no help at all. And the reality is, man, affliction it's actually quite strength producing. It's actually like the only way to get strong is to go through an affliction and go through like a straining point and moment. But when we approach God in our relationship and that strength, we want it, but we don't realize we have to go through the affliction in order to gain it and use it at the same time. Not necessarily that we always get it and use it immediately, but we do get it and gain it for future trials. But Isaiah 58 is where I'm at, and it's where Isaiah is God sent him to the Israelites to tell him of, you've got it all wrong. You're approaching this affliction of fasting, but the Israelites were approaching fasting as though they were right and not it making them right. And first God says to them in verse 2, He says, "Yet you seek me daily, and you delight to know my ways. And if they were a nation, they did righteousness and did not forsake the judgment of their God." It says, "And they ask of me righteous judgment, and they delight to draw near to God." It's almost a little point of there's little fruits of them heading in the right direction, but verse 3 hits of their reality. It says, "We have fasted, and you see it not. Why have we humbled ourselves, and you take no knowledge of it? Behold, in the day of your fast, you seek your own pleasures," is what God says, "and you oppress all your workers," or your brothers and sisters, "as behold, you fast only to quarrel and fight and to hit with the wicked fist." And man, that right there, this is the church meeting gone physical. Man, you hit with wicked fist. Just pointing that out there, because I mean, there's some times where we get so angry that we allow that anger to lead our actions, and at that point, even before that point, God's not in it. His gospel, His message is not in us, and therefore this affliction is just showing our weakness rather than humbling us to make it right or to make us right. Verse 5 says, "In such the fast I choose, a day for a person to humble himself. It is to bow his head like a reed, and to spread a sackcloth like ashes under him. And will you call this a fast, and a day acceptable to the Lord? Is it not the fast that I choose, to loose the bonds of wickedness, and to undo the straps of the yoke, and to let the oppressed go free, and to break every yoke? Is it not to share your bread with the hungry, and to bring the homeless poor into your house?" It says, "And when you see the naked, to cover him, and not to hide yourself for your own flesh. Then shall your light break forth like the dawn, and your healing shall be sparing up speedily, and your righteousness shall go before you, and the glory of the Lord shall be your rear guard." And those moments of identifying affliction, man, we need to make sure that the affliction that we're going through, we put the affliction on ourselves in the right manner. There's so many times I think we put affliction on because we're gluttonous. Man, I do this about every other time I go to the dinner table. It's that affliction I put on myself for that later struggle because I enjoyed something so much. But it's not that I willingly put the affliction on, but I was chasing something that I wanted, I desired. But then it put affliction. The reality is, man, we go through this affliction. We willingly put on an affliction when it comes to the point of fasting and praying and seeking God's will. But another area of affliction is, man, we put afflictions on because of our own goals and desires. And our struggle and our stress truly comes down to the point of causing affliction in our life. But one of the last things I think, and this is the right way, is that we put on an affliction so that we can reveal God's strength and rely on His strength. And that has to be from the beginning, not a later point of accepting. When it is that way, man, it's like we're finally bending to His knee, and to His way. And so, man, inside, I don't know, whatever affliction you got going on, maybe it's the reality of being made right, which it always should be. But I hope that your affliction that you're putting on, one, that you're going in it and you're approaching it knowing that God has the strength and the knowledge to reveal the next step, to reveal the path, and reveal the fruit that affliction can lead to. So, but man, thank y'all for joining us. We hope you have a great rest of your week. And man, we will see you next week, or Wednesday night, I should say, and we have our full schedule in the Wednesday night group, of the adult group going through Romans, and the kids and students and youth and all of that madness. So,
Ladies Bible study kicks off.
yes, thank you, Jody. Yes, Lady Bible Study kicks off this Wednesday night. So I hope you have a great week, and we'll see you then.
See you, Oasis.